Look at the face. Look at the material. Hey you guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if it's not your first time here. Hi Glowwies, I hope you guys are doing fantastic, and if it is your first time here, do not forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the post notification bell so that you are notified every time I put up a new video. And I promise you, it's a good time, it's a fun time this side of life. How are you guys doing? Lena, how are you guys doing? Look at the face. Look at the material. I did this face. I hadn't touched my face in 2 weeks. I said, let me beat my face. Let me put a wig on. And once I did it, I said, life update, filming, loading. I hope you guys are doing good. And don't forget to also go follow me on all my social media platforms. The links are always down in the description bar below. Hi. Let's do this life update, guys. I know you have been hearing about it over and over and over again in the vlogs, so let's get to it. I don't want to lie to you guys, today I'm actually feeling myself beyond measure, beyond count, beyond it's too hot. Let's disclaimer, guys, I'm so sorry for the cars that you're about to hear outside, because all of a sudden when I'm filming, people got places to be, people got somewhere to be, so I'm so sorry about that. And I know for some of you guys who actually are tuned into my channel, what I'm about to say to you, you may have heard a couple of times before in the vlogs, but I just wanted to paint the whole picture and tell you guys how we got to the decision of moving, how the moving process went, and how we ended up moving twice. Crazy business. But okay, let me start here. So for a while, and I would say most probably last year or the year before last, my husband has been saying that he feels like his work, it's too monotonous, it's just too repetitive, and he needs a new challenge, right? Either he goes to a new company or he gets like a different team, a different space. He just needed a new challenge, man. And you know what I've realized, my mom was saying, like, yeah, when you do like properly a 9 to 5, you tend to feel like, okay, this one is becoming boring and you need something new, you need a challenge. But I guess that's like everything with life, right? Cool. So that was last year's conversation. And even then, when me and him spoke about it, I just took it as like, oh yeah, we're just talking. And I also mentioned the fact that I feel like I also need a new space, because I thrived so much in terms of like my hustle and my need to make money when I was in Joburg, because I had to survive. Okay, I had to live. Coming back home, I had my mom, and then from just coming back home, having my mom, and then, you know, Bloom becomes, it was normal for me. It was like where I grew up. And then I got pregnant, I got married, and then I just became this reluctant stay-at-home mom. I still stand by that. I'm a bit reluctant to be a stay-at-home, but I'm making the best of it. So cool. We spoke about it, and I was like, yeah, I need a new challenge. In my brain, I was thinking Joburg. Okay, I was thinking go Egoli. I was thinking the city of lights. Okay, that's what I was thinking. But my husband has never really been a fan of it, so I kind of like figured we'd have to find a middle ground, right? So January of this year, my husband comes to me and is like, hey babe, there is an opportunity for us to move, and this is the place that's been presented. And he was like, Richards Bay. No offense to people from Richards Bay, no offense, but I never had nothing about it. I knew next had to be next. I knew nothing about it. And then obviously, what am I gonna do? I get on TikTok, I get on Google, and I'm seeing it. I'm like, for what I want out of my life, this ain't it, papi. I was like, oh, this is not it. But one thing about like my relationship and my marriage is that I wake up to fulfill my husband's needs, and he wakes up to fulfill my needs, wants, and dreams and aspirations. I do the same for him as well, right? So I was just like, you know what? Because there is nothing tying me to Bloom apart from my family, which I love, which I will always see. We can do this move. I don't want to lie to you guys, that Richards Bay element was like the bane of my existence. But anyway, shop fine. Okay. And then in February, early February, my husband comes back and is like, hey, there's a possibility that we could choose Richards Bay, Ladysmith, and possibly KZN, right? And possibly Durban, basically. And I was like, okay, I am doing Ladysmith, that's for sure. And I'm not feeling Richards Bay. So Durban will be the best thing. And I said, you know what, let me go unto God. Okay? So that's when I was just like, I had a conversation with God, and I was just like, you will know where we need to be, and you will know that whichever place that we go to, it will fulfill all of us. So I'm just putting it all in your hands and all of that. And then I think like 2 to 3 weeks later, my husband was like, baby, get ready to pack up. KZN, Dubai too. Okay, we are moving there. And mind you, we are finding this out in Feb. And my husband, we have to move at end of March. Okay, we don't have family in KZN, in Durban specifically. We don't have family. So we're just like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna do viewings? How are we gonna do whatever? But we do the normal ways, guys. Internet, we're searching. And I must just say, guys, I'm a Durbanite now. I'm in Durban, okay? Is that what you say? I don't know. But apartment searching here, bottom barrel. Bloom has you guys so beat, okay, that a simple thing like not seeing a geyser was like top priority when I was looking for places. I did not want to see my geyser. I did not want to bump into my geyser when I'm taking a shower, when I'm taking a bath. Next time back, and that's all that was given. And the wood that you guys love here, I guess but my God. Anyway, now I'm doing whatever. So we kept on looking, and then you look at your budget, you look at everything else, and you're just like, are we gonna be able to do this? Cool. Then luckily on this particular day, when we were just randomly looking, this place popped up, right? Newly renovated, white countertops, paint was white, everything was just giving, this is a beautiful estate. And then you look at everything else, it's a 2-bedroom, it has a bathroom, it has a shower, it has a bathtub. I don't see the geyser anywhere. I was like, oh baby, that's the one. And then luckily we were dealing directly with the landlord, and everything was just like, okay, you guys can have this place, right? Bear in mind, we know the area that it's saying, right? It's saying Westridge. But what do we know about Westridge? We know absolutely nothing. Okay? Cool. Sharp. Now we are settled. We know that we have a place when we do get to KZN. Sharp. Then we book a person. Because now, also, during this time when this whole move was coming into play, I was thinking, okay, do we sell everything and then we get this side and then we purchase new furniture? Problem with that, I feel like if it was just me and my husband, valid, we could just do that, right? We could just upgrade everything. We don't mind. We get a mattress when we get there. We'll thug it out. If it's just the two of us, right? But because we are a 3-way, okay, we come as a family unit, but we come as 3. So we're just like, it's not going to be able to work for me again. And also, oh yeah, I forgot to say, in searching for like places, I was also looking at the proximity from our place to a daycare and a primary school, right? And it had to make sense in the sense of like, I drop Nigel off in the morning, and as you guys know, or I don't know if you guys know, we only have one car and my husband uses it for work. So I have to literally be there for drop off and pick up. Cool. That place that we saw, it said that the daycare was like a 7-minute walk. In Bloem, in Langenburg Park, I was walking like a good 11 minutes. I was like, oh, it's even closer. Valid. Cool. Sharp. That's how we settled on that place. Fine. We now getting to the place of like, are we moving with all our furniture? We decide, yes, let's just take the furniture. It will be costly, but at the end of the day, we just bought a new TV. We had just bought a new TV stand. And we all know if you're reselling things, you can't resell them at the price that you bought them, right? So we're like, okay, let's just make the move. We book a booker and all of that. And you guys saw in the moving vlog part 1 at 4 a.m. All right. Mind you, my husband is asleep. I think I woke up at 5. As I'm now getting ready, my husband looks at his phone when he wakes up. At 4 a.m., the mover had been like, hey, we can't help you. We're so sorry. What? Mind you, we have to move out of this place because we've already given our notice. We don't got room for nothing. And we really do have to also be in KZN because babe has to start work. No, technically he was on leave. I don't want to lie. Let me not lie. He was starting work the following week, but we still had to move, right? Okay, then you guys saw in the vlog, we're just a little bit, it was a bit shaky. Cool. Then that's when we decided, oh, okay, we are going to just hire a trailer and have family to help us move and all these other things. So that's when we ended up living with best friend Sia, and then his cousin Gatiso, and then my little brother, and then it will be us as a family. Baby, we packed ourselves up and then we got on the road, and we left so late. I think we really left Bloom at like 2:06 with a kid, you guys, with a kid. And you guys know PMB, nah, there by Maritzburg, the fog that happens there, crazy business. But regardless, anyway, we make it. And you guys even saw that we were first supposed here. Well, this was what the plan was, right? We're gonna go to an Airbnb for like a couple of hours. Like when we arrive, we're intending to arrive. Obviously, we were gonna leave a bit early and then whatever. But then we ended up leaving late, and we got the site at 4 a.m. The Airbnb was like, oh no, baby, there's no check-in, there's no nothing, like whatever. And Airbnb also has this new thing where they basically like you have to wait for the response from the host, right? Anyway, that was the plan. I ended up, okay, arriving at 4 a.m. and staying in the streets, okay, until 10 a.m. The area was bluff, okay. We ended up staying there, but it's fine. Eventually we get the keys, we go into the place. As we are driving up, right, I'm a woman first and foremost, right, and I'm a mother. I'm looking around as we're coming up the area, and I'm just like, I don't know how I will comfortably walk here, because now it wasn't like I was turning and walking 5 minutes and then the school is there. No, I had to go down and go into an area that didn't necessarily look safe, and then walk again and then turn. But I was like, okay, positive mindset, because I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer. Positive mindset. Then fine, me and my husband, we go in, we move in, everybody's there, everything goes in, and then the family that came with us travels back to Bloom. Fine, we're settling in, and obviously we have to drive out to go see. And then we drove out and we went to go see. And I don't know what my husband was thinking, but I was already just like, oh no, right? And then when we got there, right, I needed to shower, because I was just feeling like I'd been traveling for like a long time. My phone network is like sus. Like there's like 2 bars, 1 bar, no bar. I'm like, oh, whoa. But I said, you know what? We're gonna get Wi-Fi. We're gonna get fiber. We're gonna be set. Positive mindset. Cool. Look around the area. I'm not really like all that convinced about it, but I'm also not trying to like stress my husband out, because he's made this move, and you know, he's ready and getting excited for work and stuff like that. So I was like, let me see how we can thug this out and how we can get everything together. And we had a week with him to kind of figure out the fiber stuff, to figure out the school stuff, to figure out all of these things. I'm calling the school sometime and they're like, oh yeah, you can come and see it, but we're currently closed, so you can come at this time, all of that stuff. But we just take a drive there so that we can see the school. The school looked fine, it looked decent, it looked amazing, I don't want to lie. But I was just like, ooh, getting here a bit tricky. But cool, I'm trying to stay positive, right? Then we come back. Now, as we're trying to sort out this fiber thing, they're telling me, oh no, the estate is under this particular company, and then they don't want you to use this other company. They don't want so it's becoming a bit of a struggle. It's become a bit of a struggle. And I think by the 2nd week, I had to have a conversation with my husband. I was like, oh baby, we gotta sit down and we gotta talk. Okay, and I sat him down. I'm like, I know, you know, I know what I'm about to talk about will not necessarily be the nicest, and it might stress you out, but we gotta have this conversation. And I said, no, this place is not gonna work. The estate is amazing, everything is beautiful about it, but the network issue leaves me and Umnigelo at a point where if anything was to happen, how do we make contact with you? You know, mind you, we checked Vodacom, Netel, all of it, they were not operating there, to the point where I even resorted to actually getting rain, you guys. And it's been a long time. Like, I'm a fiber girl. I love fiber down, okay? I love it all the way down. Miss me with rain. But here I am, and I'm loving it currently. But we'll see. We might still change to fiber again. But anyway, we get rain. We're thinking, it'll work. Only to find out it's not necessarily just like your apartment issue. It's like a whole complex apartment issue because of like the trees and all of these things around the area. The network is trash for everybody. I was like, but the higher you go, the more bars you get. Imagine this, you just moved into an estate, you get this rain, you don't even know your neighbor, okay, upstairs. You have to go and knock and ask, hey, can we please put in our router so that you can use it as well. I know using your electricity. And mind you, here's the funny thing, this is a kiki slide thing, okay. First, my husband went because I know that my husband has very good rapport with people. You guys get what I'm saying. He has like a very good aura about him, I will just say, because mine, like, I'm not a smiley person, you know. So cool, my husband went first, and then the lady agreed. She was like, oh yeah, no, cool, no problem, whatever. And then my husband was like, okay, because I've went, and obviously she needs to understand, like, I'm a married man and all these other stuff and all whatever. Not necessarily like he said it like that, but he was just like, okay, I think you must go and talk to her and finalize the whole arrangement and find out like what would she like us to contribute to her electricity or this and this and this. Then you can go. When I tell you guys the stank ass attitude that I got there, mind you, right, obviously I'm in Durban, guys, right. I understand you guys speak Zulu. Please bear in mind, I don't know Zulu. I know a little bit of it, to be honest. Okay, let me not lie, I lived in Joburg. I know a little bit of it, but I'm not fluent. So if you're gonna have a conversation, I'm gonna hear you, but I can't respond in Zulu, right? So the best thing that I do as a person is that if you greet me in Zulu, I don't know if this is better or what. If you greet me in Zulu, I greet you back in Sotho, so that you can understand. For if you're gonna maintain Zulu, I'm also gonna maintain Sotho, right? Fine. But what I will do is also just tell you, I really don't understand Zulu that well. But when I tell you that lady, oh baby, stankiest attitude, and she was just like, oh no, you guys can't keep it up here. But she was saying it in Zulu, right? Fine, cool, it's whatever. And then I think I tell my husband, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't think she wants us to keep it there, so you might have to go, what was it? Was it to go fetch it? Was it already up there, or yes, I think it was up there for like that night. And then the following day I was supposed to go and talk, and then I was like, yeah, you might have to go fetch it. And then when he goes, she's like, oh no, you guys can keep it, there's no problem. I'm trying to get fiber block. And I was like, you know what, woman. But anyway, cool, that happened. I sat my husband down, we had the conversation, and I told him, well, this is not good for me and your son, because at the end of the day, you travel quite a lot, and if we have an emergency, how are we gonna call you if we don't have network? Because even the rain at most was giving you like a good 3 bars, okay? So cool. I told my husband, like, unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to move. And the one thing that, out of the many things that I really love about my husband, and I feel like I'm just saying my husband right now, but like my main, okay? The one thing that I really love and appreciate about him and our relationship is that we can have like open conversation, and I'm able to bring forth my kind of issues, and he can also do the same, and we'll be able to find a resolution in that way. And he was just like, you know what, I also get it, because I see what's going on and I see what's around, and I also can't see how we're gonna finish. But before that, okay, my husband is a solutions man, okay? My husband was like, because I was like, the school thing was like my biggest issue, because I have to go pick him up and drop him off. And then he was just like, no, maybe there are other kids here, and there's a transport system and whatever, we can check and finalize that and all of these other stuff. I'm like, valid. But from my experience and what we have had with our child is slightly a bit on the sicklier side. He's when I tell you my son is thriving in this environment, crazy. But he was constantly sick. I was like, that's not gonna work, because I cannot expect, let's say if a parent, when they go to drop off their child at work, when I get a call from school that he has a high fever and I have to pick him up, what's gonna happen, you know? So we looked at everything, and then he was just like, okay, you can get back and start looking for places. And that's what I did, started booking viewings. And then he had the conversation with the landlord, and the landlord, shame, amazing guy, he did all his best to really kind of try to keep us there, because he was excited. He had just spent all this money renovating and getting the place together, and then he gets tenant. First day he posted, and you know, I think he was like also getting that all that work was not for nothing, you know. So, but we told him, like, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna be possible. And he was like, okay, no, that's cool. So other people are gonna come start viewing. He put up the place. It became people coming into view, or we were going out to go view places, and we were struggling. Okay, we were struggling. And when I was looking at it, it was just, and then what happened is I don't want to give away, guys, with the way South Africa is set up, I don't want to give away where exactly we live. You will be able to pick it up, but I don't really want to give it away all in totality because it's crazy out here. But we came here with base friends to this particular area of KZN, and I was just like, yeah, this is talking to me. I was like, yeah, this is talking to me. This is where I want us to move. And then we calculated in terms of bays, like traveling from one place to the other, how he was going to be able in terms to do it in terms of work. And then this place worked, and then we started looking here, and that's when I showed you guys there was this place with the most nicest kitchen that I've ever seen in my life. Okay, but the roach that I saw there was this big. And also that's the other thing, like, not to beg, not like I'm dogging on KZN, but like, y'all's roaches are this big. Why? I'm used to like a little smaller thing that you can see. If yours is like this and it's walking extra slow, being like I own the place, suspicious. But yeah, we looked around and eventually we found a different place. Right? Cool that I had settled for it. I was like, yes, I love it. We're gonna live here. Did it have a tub? No, it was just a shower. But I was like, oh, Mnigelo's a grown up now. He'll be able to figure it out, you know? And it was also second floor, right? Babe is not really a fan of that, and he likes a duplex or a simplex. Like, he's just that type of person. Cool, but luckily that place, when we came to view it, we were a bit early to see the agent, and we drove around and we saw that they had a daycare nearby, like a literal 5-minute walk. And lucky, by God's hand, as we were driving to that school, the owner of the school was outside and cleaning because the kids were coming back on the Monday, I think, or the Tuesday, and we were able to get a tour of the place and whatever. And we're like, you know what, for the safety of how we got here, and also the fact that it's literally, it's all in, like, God is making it happen. Basically, we got a tour of the school and we got the forms and everything else like that. We're like, whatever this place is going to be, we're gonna take it and just thug it out. Cool. And we agreed we're gonna go take the place, started the process with the agent. Everything went well. We were ready and set to move. Right? If my life was ever that easy, would we be recording and pulling out cameras? I don't think so, because that week, as I'm gearing up, okay, to be like, okay, we're moving to this place, I'm excited, I'm already picturing how we're gonna place everything, what we need and whatever. And it had like this nice ocean view, and when you open the window, the breeze was gonna come in, and there's like a little area. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm gonna set up my little nail station and whatever, so that you can have that view when you're doing clients and all. I was planning in my brain. One day I'm chilling, mind you guys. Also, the other thing, tidbit, I hadn't been home for 2 months. I love my kid, but oh my God, the energy that my son has, and just I was like his teacher, I was his friend, I was his everything. Oh, and can't tell you. Anyway, cool. So fine. During the week that we're supposed to move, right? I'm at home, we're chilling with Miguel. Whenever my husband calls me, he's like, hey, do you mind going with me to that area so that there's something that I need to go do for work and blase. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I like being out the house. Miguel likes being out the house. He comes and gets us. We drive to this area. But like, my brain is not clocking like, but why would your work be here? You know, but I was just like, you know what? He's still finding his feet, all this stuff. But as soon as we drove up this other street and I saw the agent, and I was like, something is brewing here. Something is bad. And then that is when I found out the place that we actually wanted, the owner of it had decided, to put it on the market. He wanted to sell it, right? And because we have a child and we're just trying to settle back in, our agent had felt like she didn't want to put us through the whole people coming in, going out, coming in and going out, and also like you would still have to move again. And luckily that very same day when she had found out the news of the place going up on the market, this place was then available for rental. She was like, I have a place for you guys, come check it out, newly renovated, everything has been changed from wood to tile, from this to that to this to that. Baby, we viewed it, and the first day I viewed it, I wasn't happy because for me, right, my brain is like this. I need to kind of like envision something and sit on it for like a little bit and get excited about it, and then yeah. So even with the previous place that I thought we were moving into, I knew the things that we were sacrificing, but I was also seeing the vision of the things that we could get. Okay, so cool. I viewed this place and I'm like, guys, okay, it has a nice like little play like a nice grassy area for Nigelo to play soccer, and that's all he's doing every day. When he tells you he's going for soccer practice, he means he's going to be going to soccer practice there the whole time. Okay, so cool. I was just like, you know what, it's okay. Okay, that's when the we are now moving vlog begins. Then we are like officially moving again, and we are packing up and we're doing all that we're doing, and we moved into this place, and we've been loving it, we've been enjoying it. It's beautiful, it's amazing. Is it a lot of work? Yes, because stairs are like literally weapons formed against you, and they're trying to prosper, but yet they don't realize they're not prospering because they're building your legs. Okay, but yeah, so that is everything that has to do with like the move and how everything came about and where we are now. And immediately, if you guys saw in that vlog, if you haven't watched it, I'll put it in the eyes up here. Nigelo started school and we're just basically settling in. Currently, this is our second week here as I'm filming. Been loving it. The walk is nice. Everything is serene about this place. I realized, right, the hustle and bustle was good for me in the sense of like when I was younger and I didn't have a child. That's why I say, like, I feel if we had moved here without our son, we would have still stayed in like the heart of Durban, you know, would have still stayed there because it would be buzzing. And I think for also a beautician and somebody who's in the beauty space, that would have been a perfect space. But because we prioritize our son so much and his well-being, that, but also for me, like for my sanity, guys, like I could go do outside, I need to sleep. I cannot be hearing gum 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 gum. No. And also I'm not gonna be hearing cars all the time, no. So this place is like really nice and it's serene and we are happy. Okay, now that we've addressed all the moving shenanigans, bear in mind, guys, it's getting a bit rowdy outside because it's almost also time for me to go fetch my son. In all that, right, where was my mental health and where was my mind, right? I had neglected all of that. Okay, I neglected all of that because firstly, I had the excitement of, oh, we are moving, we're gonna start a new chapter, right? And because I had moved away from home when I was fairly young, like literally straight out of varsity, I went to Joburg. I don't necessarily have that family attachment where I need to be in close proximity with my family. That's why I can uproot and move. I have no issue. But because I now have Umnigel, right? And also like I started building like a proper relationship with my mom, a proper relationship with my sister, and like a proper relationship with my nephew and my little brother. You know, we're like a family unit. And also the other thing is that when it comes to my marriage, my family is more of the family that we go to for support and direction and all these other things, right? And I'm not going to go into further detail in that. I think I've hinted enough that if you're a grown-up and my demographic is 24 to 35, you guys kind of get where this is going, okay? But I'm not going to talk about it. My family is kind of like the intricate part of like my marriage and everything else like that. I didn't realize that was going to have an effect on me, right? But my brain clocked it and stored it at the back of my mind because I was dealing with like, we need to move, we need to pack up, we need to settle, we need to do 1, 2, 3, we need to do this, we need to do that, right? So I wasn't necessarily dealing with that anxiety that arose, right? Then we move into this new place and I realized, oh my gosh, this place is not safe. That is also giving me stress. And while that is happening, there are other things that are going on in the background that just also caused me to plunge, right? You won't see it in my vlogs because my depression, or rather, let me not say depression, my anxiety is very much in my mind a lot. Like my anxiety, you'll only see with like little things, like I won't sleep, I will always like drift in thought, that's the only way you'll figure out from, okay, there's something brewing. So I was going through a lot, and I just want to say to people that met me in that phase, I'm so sorry for the molly that you guys got to experience because, oh my gosh, Toxiana, you know, Toxiana, because I wasn't addressing myself, you know, so my mental health was kind of like in the pits, you know. But luckily within the conflicts that I was having, there was one interactions that kind of made me pivot. And I realized that I don't know how to phrase this. I realized that I gave too much control to other people. So, and to situations, whereas I needed to refocus that this is where I spoke to God about where God will see me going. So I am here now because God wants me here. And so I need to be able to deal with what comes with being here. And also I was addressing a lot of other underlying things that were going on that I didn't realize were affecting me for like a long period, right? So that's when I started getting back to like journaling, and I got back into prayer and everything else. And sometimes, right, I think a lot of people need to know that it's not every day where it's gonna always be like a big thing that makes you change and like that rewires your brain. Sometimes it's just a small and a little thing, which is technically a big thing, but it's not as big as things could get, that could actually get you to be like, let me get my shit together. Let me get myself together. And I was having, you know how I know that I'm not in a good space, right? Is when I have too many conflicts. And it's not conflicts where like I'm constantly like just like you push me, you bump me, and then we are going off. No, I'll get into debates that get so heated that I will like just black out and then get over, like, you know, give a lady you know. So I was just like, okay, I need to get myself together. I need to collect myself, because also I'm constantly with my son at home. That was also another thing that I was also wearing on me. I needed to get myself together, and I did. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but the girl's doing great. Mentally, I'm doing amazing. Journaling has, and I hate to be the person to harp on it so much, but journaling has helped me immensely. Like prayer and journaling, because sometimes you struggle to, like, when you're praying vocally, right, to express to God kind of the things that you are feeling. But if you write, you will start, oh, it's always lightweight. And then as you keep on writing, you have to push yourself to keep on writing, and then the deeper stuff will then arise. So yeah, and unfortunately also in that came like a very much a period of I needed to isolate from certain people. I needed to isolate from certain situations so that I can rediscover myself again, and not the self that I was before I moved, but a certain part of me needed to mature and grow enough to say, I want to be the Molly that I've always known myself to be, outside of being a mom, outside of being a wife, outside of just everything that everybody has told me I needed to be. I know the Molly that I've always perceived myself to be, and I needed to be that again. And that meant, unfortunately, cutting off certain people. That meant, unfortunately, stepping away from certain relationships and friendships and all of these other things, because it was just getting too much for me. But now I'm in a good place. I'm still walking through the process of like dealing with myself and dealing with my mind, and making sure that when I am ready to reintroduce those friendships and those relationships, I'm mentally prepared that whatever encounters that we may have, they won't necessarily affect me in a way that they did, you know. So yeah, that was basically how everything came about. And now we're doing great, as you guys can see. Now I'm uploading. I'm a consistent queen. Okay, I'm out here. I'm giving you guys content. I'm feeding the girls, okay? And let me add this in. I just got my first campaign. When I said God knew I needed to come here, because yeah, and we're working with CeraVe, guys. CeraVe, do you guys know? If you look at my Discam hauls, it's always there. A product of theirs is always there. And baby, we're working with them. I'm so excited. But yeah, that is like everything that's been going on. And I know like it got a bit somber, so I don't want to end off on like sadness. Ooh. So you guys, that was all that I wanted to tell you guys. I know this has felt like a story time and we're sad. I wished we had bubbles, but I'm all by myself this weekend. It's me and my son, so gotta stay sober and alert. But yeah, I love you guys so much. There's like a bird literally outside the window. It's not moving. It just left. Yeah, I love you guys so much for getting to this part of the video. And if you got here, let me know what you think about my face. Mind you, I hadn't touched my face in 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks, and this is what It's game time, bees. It's game. Come on, okay? But yeah, I love you guys and I hope you guys are feeling fantastic today. And remember, I'm being your consistent queen. So share with friends, with family. Ask your mom to just subscribe. Okay, and then you can watch on both her videos, in her YouTube and my YouTube, your little brothers, your siblings, and everybody else. Let's grow this family, okay? And watch the video all the way through so that the watch time can go up and we can start being the baddies that we are, okay? But yeah, anyway, I love you guys so much. And because this face is like this, don't forget that makeup, it's not key to your beauty. It's merely glitter on a Mona Lisa. Bye!